Okay. Wait, no, it's up. So, based on what the U.S. has been doing in the late in the past decades, helping Iraq and countries like Somalia that are in need, I feel that by pulling out of both countries, let's say Iraq and Somalia, for example, and then pulling getting again into the problem for only one of those countries shows a bit of unfairness to the other one, because it's like helping one that of course Iraq is gonna help them a lot economically, and they have a very good location in the Middle East and they have good allies, but Somalia has no allies. Somalia is a terrorist ran country. So in the
They
first
wouldn't help them in the end.
exactly in the first article that I found, Obama states that ISIS is a cancer and that ISIS has shaken the entire conscience of the world, and that is one of the reasons he's sending again.
No, what is ISIS?
ISIS is a Islamic state, Islamic terrorist group who want to eliminate every single other religion in the Middle East, maybe in the world. I don't know. It's kind of their message. But Obama states that his main, one of the reasons that might attract more to the public is a big fallacy, which is saying that ISIS is a cancer, and then saying that ISIS has shaken the entire conscience of the world. Even though that might be true, he's still reducing to a very absurd claim to support something as important as sending 300 people or more to a country that is riddled in issues. And as he says, ISIS is a cancer. If he knows that ISIS is a cancer and they're so dangerous, he shouldn't be sending more people to put their lives in danger, because that's probably the bigger priority in Obama's mind, which is the safety of all the Americans. And 300 military troops are also Americans, so
Are also in danger.
are also in danger. And in my second article, it says that the U.S. has secretly, quote, U.S. military has secretly developed a small number of trainers and advisors in Somalia in October. That's that's a very big fallacy. That's, to the educated reader, that's a very big fallacy that the Washington Post is stating right there in the first sentence of the article, which is saying that the U.S. has secretly deployed troops. How do they know if it's secretly? When the U.S. has certain secrets, let's say, they keep them very well. That's a country. The countries keep good secrets, and we don't know what they are because they're secrets. But if they're saying secretly and have no proof for it, they're also making a very big fallacy. Although not everyone can spot it, but it's still very noticeable that they have no evidence to what they're saying with the secret things. And that shows me that there's no real help in Somalia, while Obama himself has said that ISIS is a cancer, and that's why, even though it's a fallacy, that's why he's sending troops to the U.S. Which,
so he's to Iraq.
Yeah, to Iraq.
And that's why. And you're saying that if the U.S. is going to help in one place, they should help in another place as well, no matter if it benefits them or not.
Yeah, because they're a power. Okay. They're a country with a good, I don't know. Yeah, power.
Right. Okay. Well, I think I don't necessarily agree with all that, because I feel like the U.S. government shouldn't be only, when they're getting involved in wars, they shouldn't only be thinking about the outcome of it and how it will benefit them, because a lot of times they'll think it's good economically. It could be good economically for them, but honestly, it could also be dangerous to get into a war like that, because the wars that we got into with Iraq before the 21st century, they caused something. They caused 9/11. Maybe they caused the Boston Marathon. Stuff like that, where getting into these wars may help them economically in the future, but also in the future, because of what they did, they could make terrorists, which could attack the U.S. So by getting involved with wars, they're protecting our country and stuff, but they're also putting us in danger by causing haters.
And another thing about that is that maybe the U.S. should actually focus, because the U.S. crime rates are not perfect. Let's say, because it's not a country like Sweden or Switzerland that they allow everyone to have a gun and there's like one killing per every
Yeah, you
10
can't
years,
trust people.
stuff like
Sorry.
that. You don't
Yeah.
in the US, the crime rates are not perfect, and maybe the government, the central government, the most powerful entity of the government, which is Obama, he's like the law there. He has to focus more on central issues like the
Yeah,
Ferguson Missouri thing.
instead of being a bully to like other countries, which is a total fallacy and something I read in Global Issues. But like some people think that the U.S. is being a bully to the Middle East, and the Middle East was just trying to protect themselves. But then they got mad and some people turned into terrorists or whatever. But yeah, they should definitely, instead of like worrying about other people's problems or trying to fix their problems that they create. I mean, they all have to fix their wars in the end, but especially wars that they created. But they also need to, the government, when I say they, I mean the government of the US, they need to be focusing on what is going on in the US, like you were saying about crime rates and all that stuff. And just
Yeah.
yes.
Also, the as you said, they started a war, and they should end it. But the U.S. is not a perfect country. They have money. They have external debt.
Well,
They
that's yeah.
they have
That's
300 million people they need to take care of. Every single one of them is important and a priority to the government.
yes.
And that's what the government should be focusing on, instead of focusing on a war involving, for example, ISIS. Of course, the U.S. will need to help at some point, but they don't need to do this big direct impact, while they also know that their country they know that the country could become could there could be another 9/11. Although that's a fallacy, of course that's a fallacy, but the U.S. has to realize that ISIS is a danger, not only to the Middle East but also to all the United States and to all the world. And by getting in there, they're like risking everyone, because ISIS is not, it's not a joke.
Yeah.
They're not.
And so I think we can definitely agree that they should start with the small things. The U.S. government should start with the small things like the United States, what's going on in there, and then work out towards the wars and all that. Because, of course, this United States safety should be a very big priority, but also what is going on inside the United States, which I believe they're not focusing on as much as working in with the wars, should also be a huge priority. So start small and then go bigger.
Yeah.
Do we agree on that?
Yeah, that's a very good solution. Okay.